well, you're a politician. We have a right to, we elect you. We have a right to tell you off. You shouldn't be able to tell us off. Well, that's not Alex Fiore. I'm gonna take my shot at them too if they take a shot at me. I've been on the council 30 years, and I've never felt I had control of the city or wanted control of the city. I am proud to say that I've never had a conflict of interest that I had to abstain. I've never voted on anything that had anything to do with me making any money or losing money or affected my income. People maybe have a little bit more expectations than they should have about what a mayor can and cannot do. In a city like Thousand Oaks and the smaller cities, you are looking face to face with your constituents. And when you have to make a decision looking at 12 people in the audience that are very good friends of yours, that are going to cost them $500,000, and you know it, and you know the right thing to do is vote against them, and you do it, that's tough to do.
He plays bridge every Monday, and so he comes here and we hold court. And who's ever here, we talk about, I say, this is the mayor of Thousand Oaks, so we talk about everything that's going on in the city. What the mayor does is runs the meeting and tries to control the meeting, is the front man for the city or front woman for the city, so to speak, cuts ribbons.
He could have been mayor several more times probably in the community. He could probably have been mayor for many consecutive years. He has felt a critical need to share that around.
They're one person, they're one vote. They have no more say. They don't direct staff. They can't direct staff what to do. We have a city management form, a city manager form of government.
He has cared less about whether or not he's gotten credit for something than he has about whether or not something is done.
Every time his term was up, he kept running and running, so I thought, oh, he must really love this.
I should say 7 out of the 8 times, with the exception of the first one. More than half the people that voted for me, so I had a clear majority, while some of the other candidates were winning, were just barely squeaking by with 30% or 40%.
He is 100% honest. What he tells you is never varnished. There's no frosting on the cake. It's just 100% truthful.
Sometimes it's not so much what I say, but it's the way I say it that aggravates some people. I have Italian blood in me. I have a temper. Everyone knows it, and it's been that way since 1964.
Whatever he feels, he'll tell you exactly. It's very natural to be around him because you always know how you stand.
You know, if I'm burning inside, you can see it in my face that I'm angry, and they know that. A lot of people like that. A lot of people, it comes across as being arrogant.
I think a lot of people maybe have been say that he's a little grouchy and so forth, but what he's doing is really giving them how he feels from the heart and giving them the gospel truth, so to speak.
My attitude has always been, why do you have the right to come up there and tell me off? And especially if you're wrong, why don't I have the right to come right back at you?
First time I ever ran into him was up at the Jan's Mall, and he was a great baseball fan, a great Yankee fan. That's, you know, he still is. He's a nut over the New York Yankees. So we used to agitate each other about that. But Alex was a man, when I knew him then, he's the same man now.
It was in 1968 that I first started coming down here to talk to people, because I recognized the fact that people would, that knew me would call me at home, but people that didn't know me and that had problems would not call.
Real easy to get a hold of, not your typical council person. He's always around when you need him. He's always there.
I figured, gee, why don't I just sit down at the mall on Saturdays with a sign, and I created a friend of mine painted a little sign for me that says, hello, my name is Alex, I'm Councilman Alex Fiore. I'd like to discuss your concerns about city matters.
He comes up and he drinks his coffee and very rarely gets a refill, and he's real easygoing. You can talk to him without a problem. He doesn't talk down to anybody. He talks to everybody on the same level.
And it could be anything from the need for a new striping on a street, the cutting of tree at a corner, the filling of a chuck hole or a pothole, or just general philosophy about the city that we'd rap about, discuss about, ideas I would get from them.
He's been coming down to this mall for many years, which is important to me because I got married here on the mall. I have a business here on the mall, and the mall's part of my life. And Alex has been part of my life for 13 years, coming down on Saturdays.
And we wanted to know if the city has any kind of programs to help people.
Alex is somebody that I think most people are very comfortable talking to. He sits down there in a very casual situation and is willing to discuss all kinds of city issues, and in many cases will immediately work to resolve the problem right after he has met with you.
I had one gal came down here practically in tears because she bought a brand new home and was only 2 or 3 years old, and the house paint kept peeling no matter what she did.
And I went over to the Jan's Mall and I sat down at the table and I just started to cry. I was so distraught. And I explained to him the situation. I gave him the paint, gave him the pictures. He asked me a lot of questions and said, let me see what I can do about it.
People knew they could always find me at the mall on most Saturdays during the year, so I've been doing it now for 26 years.
He had made a couple phone calls, come up to investigate the problem himself, see exactly what it was, see what he thought that he could determine on his own. He had called the builder immediately. I'm talking immediately. This is the same day. This is a Saturday.
And I got with the builder and I talked to him and I finally got him to go out there and examine the house, and they finally agreed that they had made that house with green untreated wood, and they promised that they would strip it all, put brand new siding on and paint it, and they did it. Huge job. I mean, that's something that could have cost the person $20,000 or $30,000.
He has the respect of many in the community, and he's able to help people because of that. They know he's a good man. They know that he is there for us, there for the people.
You can't believe how much time that this takes away from your home, especially during the days that I was also employed.
He's my hero. He's the one I look up to for all the things that I would like to do. He gives me my strength and lets me move on.
My wife has been my biggest supporter over the years, and we're like a team.
I had my work to do and he had his work to do, and I was perfectly happy with what he was doing. I loved raising the children.
And my mom's my best friend. And we can talk and we can laugh and we can cry, and she's my best friend.
She's been a big help for me because she has a keen sense of what the public pulse is.
Dinner had to be early every night because he'd come right home from work and then off to city council he'd go.
They've been terrific role models in their marriage and in their lives and raising children, and they've passed it on to us kids.
By the time I was 7, I knew how to take odds. I knew every bet on the crap table, every which way I could croup the game, and every kid in the block was playing craps at our house.
They get hurt the same way I get hurt when something is going wrong at city council, or when you get nasty letters to the editor, which always hurt.
I don't think we would be nearly as efficient or successful in our endeavors without having the confidence and the backbone that being brought up in that family gave us.
It's funny how about like 9 out of 10 that write a nasty letter have an unlisted number and you can't get to them, and it's really frustrating.
He's just quite a guy. And if it weren't for my husband and Katie, I would probably run off with him.
If I had the power within me to put a wall around the city after I moved here in 1959, I would have done it. You know, I'm not no different than anyone else. You hate to see things built next to you.
He was the one that set down all the laws and regulations how this city would be built.
We've grown from 3,000 people to 110,000 population, and now that's a fairly good sized city, but we still have managed to keep a rural atmosphere about this city.
I think with every decision that the city has made, Alex has looked very closely at the economics of it. What is it going to cost us? Can we afford it? Can we afford not to do it?
You can't build a city by just voting no on everything and going along with the audience. The audience is not the people. It's an expression of the people that are living next to the project that's being proposed. What does the rest of the city think? That's what you have to consider. Is it in compliance with the general plan? Does it meet our standards?
This city is planned so well that it's the envy of a lot of our friends that live in the valley.
He has a strong social conscience that really has reflected itself in so many things that the city has done over the years.
We formed the general plan in 1970. We had 100 citizens participate in that plan, and that plan was adopted that would encompass 185,000 people in the city of Thousand Oaks. Over the years, we have brought that down.
There's so many things that he has been involved with as a council member or mayor that he hasn't taken credit for.
We're known throughout the state as one of the best cities in the state of California, both from a financial standpoint, services, and the whole gamut. It would have been devastated to think that you were a part of that and helped it happen, and yet people rejected you. And I think that would have really hurt very deeply.
I would not waver one time on what is right and what is wrong, and what I feel is right. Now, to me, that's what Alex Fiore has done and done in his whole career.
I know that there will be other leaders who will come along and who will make a profound impact on the community, and all of them, as they reflect on it, will be grateful for people like Alex.
Succeeding him on the city council for you sports fans would be kind of like the person who took Babe Ruth's spot in right field when he retired. Something that cannot be duplicated.
30 years is a long time to give service to the community. You take away a lot from your family, and it's a little, and I want to be frank here, that the longer you stay, the chances are that you can become a little bit arrogant.
Basically, we have a deep commitment and care for our community and want to see that it continues to grow and remain safe and healthy for our children and our parents and our families. And we have Alex Fiore to thank for that.
You're talking about whether a traffic light or a stop sign should be placed at a certain intersection. And people come down and say, are you going to wait for a child to be killed before you put those stop signs? You know, you almost feel like saying, well, no, ma'am, our warrants say that we have to wait for 5 children to be killed before. Of course we don't want to wait. You know that, and it begins to get to you after a while.
I cannot imagine how many birthdays, how many anniversaries, how many parties, how many family functions he either missed entirely or sacrificed in part in order to serve us, the citizens here in Thousand Oaks.
Because of his efforts, he's helped achieve, along with his peers, with great community input, an extraordinary community. It's been fun. I'll miss it.
He was a prize for this city then. He's still a prize for this city now.
99.9% of the people in this community, I'm convinced, love the community, love the quality of life. And to that extent, they can look at Alex Fiore after I'm long gone and say that I was responsible for 20% of everything that happened in this city that they liked. Of course, I may have been responsible for 20% of everything that they didn't like. And I say that because I've been one of 5 from the existence, since the existence of the city to now. So I'm proud of the city and proud of what my accomplishments have been. And I'm going to be staying in this city because I love it that much.